Look at that! A face only a mother could love. When I first saw this revealed, I thought Tudor had absolutely lost its mind. Then at the Grand Prix Horloger de Genève, it won an award. It won the Challenge Prize, and I shook my head in disagreement once again. After handling this watch in the metal, I must admit this watch cannot be judged based on pictures alone. Based on a concept watch which Tudor produced in the late 60s for the US Navy. In the past, Tudor was in fact supplying the US Navy with divers watches. In order to improve upon the standard issue watch, a number of prototypes were developed. The P01 is based upon one of these prototypes, and it certainly maintains that overall prototype vibe. When holding the watch for the first time, one thing that truly jumps out is that the entire watch feels very tool-like and absolutely built to last. I suspect this is due to the no-nonsense finishing. Everything including the bezel is basically brushed stainless steel. The lugs, the crown guards, they're borderline rough, but in a good way. It really feels like a tool watch, and as a result a tool built for a purpose, able to withstand pretty much anything you will throw at it. Now let's begin with what makes this watch so unique, the locking mechanism, securing the bidirectional bezel. The bezel is locked and unlocked by the articulating end links. These are what really gave the watch the unusual face it has been given. It is very different and creates a lot of visual mass, so that's definitely not for everyone. The watch in and by itself is not that massive at all, but the locking mechanism just inflates the overall size and length of the watch quite dramatically. The mechanism, however it may look, feels absolutely built to resist a nuclear blast. It provides an unusual tactile feel that you simply do not get with any other watch. When you press the lock down, it releases the bezel and you can freely rotate it. When you press the lock back into place, you guessed it, you then also lock the bezel again, and this avoids any risk of the bezel accidentally rotating. The locking mechanism is where the fun is at with this watch. Lock and unlock a million times, it'll work just as good as the first time. At least that's how solid and well built it all felt when handling this watch. As I said, due to this mechanism, the watch does wear large on the wrist, despite that it is not in itself a very large watch. The watch comes on a strap, which is a bit of a hybrid, rubber lining and a leather upper, and the leather strap on a diver's watch remains a bit of an odd choice to me. It is labeled as being water resistant. I did not take it for a swim to give that a test. That said, the strap perfectly fits the watch in the sense that it is extremely overbuilt, feels nice and solid and ready to take a massive beating. Now let's briefly stop at the dial. What jumps out is that the markers are not applied and loom filled. Instead, they opted for old school applied loom. By following this old school method, they succeeded to amp up the nostalgia factor here without resorting to the overused and frankly lazy Fotina approach that has infested watch designs as of late. You have to see it in real life to appreciate it, but this was an excellent design choice and truly provides essential character to this watch. Not that this watch is lacking character in any way. Tudor fans will of course also recognize the familiar Tudor snowflake hands. The movement is the Manufacture caliber MT5612 and displays hours, minutes, seconds and a date. The caliber has a very practical 70-hour power reserve, which will bridge that weekend gap. Take it off at the end of a working week and pick it up on a Monday morning, it'll still be ticking away. This is not an everyday watch, or well, not for most of us anyway. I will say that this would make a fine addition to any watch enthusiast's collection. These are not for everyone, and they certainly were never intended to be so, I would think. The Tudor P01 turns out to be a very enticing watch. Color me surprised. Never judge a book by its cover certainly rings true here. If you enjoy this content, please feel free to click subscribe and perhaps like this video.